Here is my final Arduino bait package project. First I'll show off the arm and the disarm feature. Power button arms it, you can tell by the red light. And the volume down button disarms it. You can't really tell because of the backlight, but it is off. Here it is on in comparison. So that's the arm and the disarm feature. Next we have the photoresistor right here connected to this relay. This relay is connected to the power source and the solenoid valve. And the solenoid valve is, you just put a Nerf dart in there. Solenoid valve is connected to this air tank, which comes out the back right here so you can refill it from the back without having to open the whole package. Then we have the ultrasonic rangefinder, which has 2 holes in the bottom of the box, which is connected to the Arduino and the passive buzzer. That's the whole thing. This is powering the solenoid, this is powering the Arduino and all the other components, and yeah, that's about it.
Oh, what do we got here? A little package for me. Oh my gosh, what is happening here? Did Mark Rober make that? Get me out of here. Alright, let's see what we got in here.
It's not a real package, idiot!
Oh, no. That was actually pretty good.
I know, right? Hello, gamers. We're going to be going over my Porsche Pirate project today. So I'll give you the basic overview. Basically, to arm it, we're using the IR remote and the IR receiver, which is right here in the picture. And I have an LED light to indicate if it's on or off, which is right here in the picture. Now, as for my sensors, I'm using an ultrasonic rangefinder, which is right here. And I'm also using a photoresistor, which is, I believe, right there in the picture. Kind of hard to see. Anyways, those are my 2 sensors. As for my actuators, the first one I'm using is a solenoid valve, which is this guy right here, which fires a Nerf dart. And it's connected to this air tank, which is like an airtight air tank. The little spout comes out the back so you can fill it up, without having to open the box. And it's controlled by this relay and the photoresistor. And then my other one is the passive buzzer, which is right here, which, just makes noise, and that's triggered by the ultrasonic rangefinder. So I'll go over my system diagram. So first of all, the first thing that it will do is it will configure the pins, and then it starts disarmed, obviously. So it starts disarmed, and then it's going to check if it's got a command from the IR receiver. And if it does get a command, if the command it gets is to arm it, then it's going to be armed. If it's not that command, then it's just going to stay disarmed. So let's say it's armed. It's going to be doing 2 things while it's armed. It's going to say, hey, has the box been lifted? And the way it's going to determine that is the ultrasonic rangefinder, if the distance is more than 0. If the box hasn't been lifted, then it's just going to go back to asking, hey, has the box been lifted? Same for has the box been opened? And that's going to be determined by the threshold on the photoresistor. And if it hasn't been opened, it's just going to keep asking, has the box been opened? So while it's in this armed state, it's going to basically be trying to figure out, has something happened? And if the box has been lifted, then it's going to turn the buzzer on. And if the light has been detected, so it's been opened, it's going to open the solenoid valve, firing the Nerf dart. So if the box is still open, then it's still just going to keep it open. But if the box is closed, hence the light detected, if the box is closed, then it's just going to go back to disarmed. Essentially a disarmed state. It's going to close off the solenoid. As for the passive buzzer, it's going to say, is it still armed? Because the passive buzzer is always on until I disarm it, so it's just going to keep staying on. So here's the code for arming the system. Basically, we're going to check for a command. So right here, if IR receiver decodes. So that's basically saying, if I get a command, then figure out what it is. If it's the volume down, then set it equal to false, armed equal to false. And if it's the power button, set it equal to true. So power button arms it, volume bound disarms it. And we're using the IR receiver and the remote for that. And then at the end, we're just going to resume, receiving the next command. And we also have a red LED light that turns on. You can see it right here, LED pin high. So that's just when it's armed, it'll do that. So as for when it's armed, how we trigger the speaker is we have this ultrasonic rangefinder, which right here, it's getting the distance, and then it's turning on the distance, or it's displaying the distance. And then we're going to be basically saying, if it meets the threshold, then, digital write to the buzzer. And I made the distance between 3 and 100 because it prints like 1,000 when is really close to the ground. So, and you could have an uneven surface too. So I just made it between 3 and 100 just to basically give a good, basically make sure there's no false readings. And then it'll turn the buzzer on. As for triggering the solenoid, we're going to use right here this photoresist value analog read photoresist pin. So this will give us the photoresistor value. And basically, if the box is opened, we can tell right here because the light level is less than 550. So that's the threshold I used. It could be varied a little bit higher, a little bit less, but that usually has been working. So yeah, if that's detected, then we're going to write to this relay. And the relay is going to trigger the solenoid to open. As for disarming the system, it's pretty simple. So if you recall here, we have if armed, and then we have an else statement. So the else is obviously it's disarmed. If it's not armed, it's disarmed. It can't only be one or the other. So we're turning off the LED light. We're saying system disarmed. We're telling the relay to close the solenoid, and we're turning off the passive buzzer. That's basically how we disarm it. It's pretty simple. And then lastly, I have my circuit diagram. This says IR receiver, kind of got cut off, but we have our photoresistor, which is connected to this 10 kilo ohm resistor, connected to ground. We have our relay. This is why we needed a relay, because the solenoid uses 12 volts of DC power, which is a little iffy to use on the Arduino. So we have this 12 volt hooked up to ground and this relay. And then when we get the signal, then it will, close this path, and then we will get power to the solenoid. We have our passive buzzer, rangefinder, our red LED, and our resistor for it. This is the 9-volt battery that's powering the Arduino off the barrel jack. And here is the IR receiver. So yeah, that's my Porch Pirate project. Thank you.